What's going on, people? It's your friendly neighborhood Gromit back again. Welcome to a new video on the channel. Today I wanted to look at a part of my Beatles record collection that I've been expanding a lot over the last couple of months, and I've got quite a lot of new records in this particular category alone, which I haven't really shown on the channel yet, and I know people love looking at Beatles records. So today I want to look at my US side of my Beatles collection. Now, I know especially for a lot of US viewers this isn't going to be very special, but as someone who's from the UK, getting hold of Beatles US albums is quite rare. They're hard to come by, you know, and it's that age-old thing where if I took my UK Beatles collection to America, it would be worth 3 times more there than what it is worth here, and vice versa. You know, it's kind of the way the countries work, you know, whatever. But I've amassed a decent amount of the US albums that I want to, the original US albums. Let's say I don't have really any. I don't have like a US White album. I used to, funnily enough, but I don't at the moment. Or, you know, like a US Sgt. Pepper's, because it's the same track listing, it's the same album as the UK one. But I want to look at the unique Capitol pressings and stuff like that. A couple from Canada as well, which is where I was born, Canada. So it's cool having a couple of them. But yeah, I think let's have a look through some US Beatles albums today. Just a chill video again. You know, I'm kind of struggling for ideas, but this seemed like a nice idea, nice kind of chill thing to do. And yeah, let's have a look at my US Beatles albums. So, quite amazingly, since the last time that we did the Beatles record collection, which was only a couple of months ago, this shelf had Rolling Stones and Hollies and stuff on it. Now, this entire shelf is all Beatles. This is my full Beatles collection, and some Beatles solo stuff in there as well. But I am going to bring the ISO up a bit. There we go, on around 200. And let's take out the US albums. So that probably there, as you can see, proves that I have collected quite a lot of the US ones. There's also another US one here, which is the red album, the 63 to 66, but 62 to 66 actually. But I'm not gonna. We're talking about, you know, like straight up Capitol releases here. So let's start off with Meet the Beatles. I've got 2 copies of Meet the Beatles. This is a original Scranton pressing. A lot of these are Scranton. They're the easiest to find, really. But there we go. I think this might have BMI. No, I don't think this has BMI. No, it does. Alright, okay. Yeah, it's cool having an original. It's got the original inner sleeve there as well, as you can see on the Capitol label. The lighting in here is pretty bad, but you can see there. Yeah, it's nice having an original Meet the Beatles, and it pairs up very nicely with, of course, this here, which is the reissue on blue vinyl. I'm listening to these over all of my original mono ones when I have one, because they sound arguably better. And these were such brilliant releases, by the way. I do love these. There we go. And as you can see there, this is the blue vinyl version, the exclusive. I'm going to keep a hold of this. I don't know if these are really going to go massively up in price or not once they become out of print, but I'm happy to have it in the collection. So yeah, 2 copies of Beatles for sale. 1 proper original, 1 of the new reissue ones. Now we've got the Beatles' second album, which I only have the new reissue of. These, like I said, I love these. If anything Beatles released that is, you can see my outline of my face there, Jesus. Anything Beatles related which is released as a full analog print, I pick up, because they do genuinely, like Giles Martin and the team, do a sensational job on these. These sound brilliant. They sound as good as the originals. And yeah, got this one for Christmas. Quickly show the label. The really good recreations of the original Capitol labels on these reissues as well. There we go. And this one has a blue inner sleeve with it. So that's my second album. That's possibly my favourite bit. Nah, I don't think it is, but it's close. It's up there. Real rocking album, that one, using some of the songs from the first couple of, well, I don't think this has any Hard Day's Night songs on it. Yeah, so it's got everything that was left from With the Beatles, and then it's also got songs from the Long Tall Sally EP, like You Can't Do That, Long Tall Sally, I Call Your Name. And then it's also got She Loves You on there, I'll Get You, you know, lots of single and B-sides from the UK. That's what I love, again, about these US albums. They add singles on them, which, you know, in a format where you can listen to a lot of, you know, you can just listen to a UK single. You know, sometimes you just want to sit down and listen to 25 minutes of Beatles music in one go. And these US albums just really, you know, you can say what you want about Dave Dexter Jr., but he really did have a knack for putting together great listings of songs. However, this one isn't a Dave Dexter Jr. album, because this is the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night. I've only got one copy of this, and it's a original. And this one's quite cool as well, if you can see that. This one is a Canadian pressing. The ISO is so bad. There we go. Canadian pressing, which has a interesting label, which I will show. I think there is a few label variations of the Canadian one, but this one is on a red United Artists label right there. Mono. This isn't a good sounding album, in my opinion. I'd rather listen to the UK Hard Day's Night. But if you want to listen to the instrumentals, these are always fun to listen to. But yeah, this is on a red United Artists label from Canada, which is cool. Actively looking for a US pressing of it. I really want to get them all in stereo as well. Some of the stereo versions are kind of quirky and fun to listen to. Right, next up we've got something new. This is the Mono reissue, again from last year. There we go. This one again, cool. Not my favourite US release, but it's got songs on here that I love. The Mono version, I believe. This has like an extended version of I'll Cry Instead, which was only on this Mono version. It says 2 minutes and 4 seconds, but I think this was actually, this version of I'll Cry Instead is more like 2 minutes 30. It's got like an entire extra verse or something, I don't know. Other songs in here, If I Fell. This also has Komm Gib Mir Dein Hand, which is the German version of I Want to Hold Your Hand. Really just bottom of the barrel, picking anything to make up an album there, to be honest. There's the thing. There's a label. And what colour is the inner sleeve on this one, I ask? It's blue again. Love these inner sleeve recreations. Yeah, that's something new. And here is something new again. A stereo 1971 Winchester pressing on the Apple label. This one, again, I like to get an original rainbow copies of all these, but it can be tricky living in the UK. I don't mind having this one for now. This Apple label version. Next up, these are where I have a couple of really cool ones to show. It's my favourite in my entire US collection. This is a really solid copy of Beatles 65 in stereo with the original inner sleeve, and this is a first pressing on rainbow capital. This is really nice copy of this, actually. I mean, I know people can get them sealed and stuff like that, but again, it's really hard in the UK to find sealed ones. I've seen a couple. Saw a stereo second album that was sealed at a record fair recently. The dude wanted like 150 quid for it though, so no thank you. This is a absolutely brilliant album. It's got lots of tracks from, it's got basically the full first side of Beatles for Sale, apart from Kansas City. Honey Don't I'll Be Back is on there. It's the last track from Hard Day's Night, I'll Be Back, which wasn't on Something New or a Hard Day's Night album itself. She's a Woman and I Feel Fine on here as well, the single from the time. Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. Class album, one of my favourites to listen to. It's one of my favourite US covers as well, really. It's a really nice cover there. So yeah, Beatles 65. That one was in my Beatles collection video from last time. I've had that for a while. Here is the Beatles story now. This is a Canadian pressing. You can tell because not necessarily by just looking at it, but obviously on like the back of the thing it says printed in Canada. These are the original Canadian inner sleeves, which are cool. So on one side it's English, on the other side is French for all the like the Quebecians and stuff like that. Yeah, this is of course the album that was exclusive if you bought the US albums box set last year, which, I mean, it's not a controversial opinion to say that a complete waste of money. I bought this, listened to it once. I'll never need to listen to it again, really. It's just a cool novelty, you know. There is what it looks like on the inside. Not a lot of people might have seen what it looks like on the inside. That is cool. I like that quite a lot. There is the back right there. Don't know what this flap is at the top. I don't know if that was made or exclusively for the Canadian ones or whatever. Here is the Canadian capital labels. They are slightly different to the US ones, I believe, but they're still really nice. Double LP, of course. There we go. And I picked this up for relatively cheap, like a tenner or something. Right, next up, here is the reissue of the early Beatles, which is basically Capitals introducing the Beatles when they got the rights to these early songs. So yeah, not much to say on this one. It's early Beatles songs, you know. It's really just a nod to just get back at VJ, really. But inside this, there is a original early Beatles here, which I've just put in. Of course, the reissue records in there as well. But I found this for £1 without a sleeve, and I thought I'll put it in the back of there. Yeah, early Beatles. That's a mono version as well there. So anyway, I've got the original and the reissue there. Next up, another of my favourites. It is Beatles 6, which this was the other one that was in this Beatles 5, and the Stereo Something New were in the original Beatles collection video. But this is a cool album. This has Bad Boy on it, which is the only ever directly US exclusive song, if you want to call that. It was put on a collection of Beatles oldies but goldies, but this song was made exclusively for this album originally. And again, this is just a sensational album. It's not as in good a shape as the Beatles 65, but it is an original on the rainbow label, and as you can see there, the red inner sleeve is there with it. Here's what the back cover looks like. A bit of foxing on that. It's very, very, very prone to foxing, these US copies, because obviously they were made on cardboard, unlike kind of glossy paper like the UK ones were made on. And the sticker covers as well. Yeah, another fantastic album here. Starts off with Kansas City, and it starts to get into the Help songs on here. So like Dizzy Miss Lizzie is on here and stuff like that. I think this came out before Help was released, so they did this quite a lot, and I'll talk about it on another one. This isn't a US album, but I'm going to throw it in here anyways. It's the soundtrack to Help. This is a Japanese pressing on the Apple label. It has like a insert thing as well there. But yeah, this is still technically, I guess, a US album in prose, because it was originally released in the US, this version. Similar to A Hard Day's Night, really. It's cool to listen to the instrumental tracks, but bar from that, you know, this isn't anything special, nothing essential to anyone who's just trying to get, you know, a Beatles collection. This isn't, you know, top of the priorities or whatever. Then the last US Beatles album I have is a special one. It is, of course, a bootleg of the Butcher cover. I don't have a real Butcher cover, come on guys. But I got this recently, and this, I was going to talk about this before. This has like Dr. Robert, I'm Only Sleeping, and Anya Bird Can Sing on it, which were made, I guess, in a sense, exclusively for this album. Again, they were on Revolver, but these have like different mono mixes or whatever, and were sent early before Revolver was released to be on Yesterday and Today. There is the back of this one. Unfortunately, it's not a really good bootleg, but it's got the original mono mixes for, again, like I said, Dr. Robert and stuff like that. Nice recreation of the Capitol label there. And this version is on like a pink splatter vinyl, I guess, with some blue in there. It's cool to have this. I doubt I'm ever going to have the opportunity, unless I really get rich one day, to be able to get a original Butcher cover. But yeah, that is my US Beatles albums. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Just a quick one. So much more Beatles stuff in the collection these days, but also, as I pan the tripod over, so much more in general. So there's going to be lots of new videos coming out, you know, hopefully this year, where we look at some of these albums, talk about some of these albums. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. It's been your friendly neighborhood Gromit, and I'll see you later.